Hello, I'm Sal Johnson. I'm editor of golfstats.com. And we'd like to have a little preview and picks of the Northwestern Mutual World Championship. It's basically the last event on the 2013 season, and it's one of these limited field events. If you look over here, you could see the field for this week is not really that big. It goes just 18 players, the 18 elite on the PGA Tour. If you look at all of these guys, are basically in the top 30 of the world rankings. And all of them, except for Jordan over here, Jordan's the only one that hasn't played in this event before. The rest of them have. Now, normally what we would do when we were doing a preview is we would go over here into a performance chart. But since we don't have the Northwestern in our database because it's not an official event, we kind of have to cheat a little bit and kind of go back the old-fashioned way and the way we used to do it in the old database that we created in Panorama. So we go back here, and if you look and see, you could see all the past performances of this tournament. Graham McDowell won last year, and Tiger Woods won in 2011, and Graham McDowell again in 2010. But let's look at the players and see, can we pick the best one? Who's the best one, based on his past performance here? Okay, we go in here, and what we're going to do is we're going to build that based on them alphabetically. So we have all these guys grouped in here, just kind of like our performance chart. If you wanted to go in here and look at our performance chart by alphabetical order, Keegan Bradley, and then Jason Day, and then all the way down to Tiger Woods. But let's go in here and let's see, who basically has done the best. And all we do is we go in here and we figure out, number of starts over here. And then we go over here to the place, and good way of doing it is we go in here and average the finishes, so that if you look at Keegan Bradley, for an example, his average finish of the two is 10th. We'll go over in here and we'll just sort it out, and we'll get who is basically, playing the best of all of them. And of course, it's going to come up, and we're going to come up with Graham McDowell. And you could see why Graham McDowell would be the best, because of the fact that he's won it a couple of times and then finished second in 2009. So that's a pretty good record in this event. If you look, the next one is Tiger Woods, because of the fact that he's won it 5 times and he's been runner-up, 4 times. Roy McIlroy, we can't forget about him. Hunter Mahan's played really well. And just going down the list, you could see, Jim Furyk has had a pretty good record, Zach Johnson, Ian Poulter, and along those lines. Now, we have a couple of things that help us out. In Golf Stats, we have a little thing where we call player rankings. And what we do is it goes through and it looks at the last 9 weeks on who's hot. And unfortunately, because of the fact that there's some tournaments that played in Australia and it's not part of the Australian tour, not part of the European tour, the PGA tour, it doesn't come up on here. But, you could see we have Ian Poulter, who's in the field doing pretty well, and Roy McIlroy. Not only did he finish fifth tied for fifth in the Dubai World, but he also won last week. So, you have to look at him pretty strongly. We have a couple of other little cheat sheets that help us. We have our little golf odds, which is based in Las Vegas. And, the problem with all of these, we have golf odds right here, and then we have a betting zone, which is based in England. And if you look, both of them are pretty comparable in picking Tiger Woods. And that's the main problem with these. They're good guides, but they always give you the same thing. They always tell you, oh, Tiger Woods is going to win, or Roy McIlroy, or Graham McDowell. But still, we go back and we can look through and see basically the odds on both of them, and see that there's some validity there. Now let's make our picks for the week. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to look in here, and this tournament's been played in the same place since 2000. Unfortunately, it's the last time it's going to be played at Sherwood Country Club, which is right outside of Los Angeles. But still, who do we like this week? We like Roy McIlroy because of the fact that he's kind of turned the corner, and he gets his first victory last week in Australia. So he finished fourth here in 2010, his only start. So you think he's going to play very well, or I feel he's going to play very well. Of course, you can't say anything about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, he's always the cream of the crop every week, always plays well. But the problem is he hasn't been very consistent. He hasn't put together 4 really good rounds since the Players' Championship 6 months ago. So, you have to be a little leery about him, but he owns Sherwood, so you have to go with him. And of course, Graham McDowell, Graham McDowell has been terrific, with his 2 wins and runner-up. He's going to do well this week, too. The best of the rest, Zach Johnson. Zach Johnson has had an incredible year. He's just kind of like come out of nowhere and been a proven force on the PGA Tour, playing pretty consistent for week in, week out. And even though he finished 18th here last year, he was runner-up in 2011 and runner-up in 2007. So I think he'll have a good week. Then my long shot is kind of Hunter Mahan. I think Hunter Mahan's going to do really well. Jason Day and Jason Duffner, along with Keegan Bradley, who was the runner-up last year in this event. And then we kind of have the best of the, rest, solid contenders, Jim Furyk. Ian Poulter, maybe he should be rated a little higher because he has played well, according to our Who's Hot. But you know what? You never know what motivates him and gets him going. Matt Kuchar's been a big disappointment in this tournament, along with, Bubba Smith. Steve Stricker really hasn't done much since finishing runner-up here. And Lee Westwood, he hasn't had a great year. Dustin Johnson doesn't seem to play well here. So we go back to our picks, which are Roy McIlroy, Tiger Woods, and Graham McDowell. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you pick the winners for this week. It's always an enjoyable tournament because you have the best players in the world. They get a 3-week vacation, and then a lot of them will be in Kapalua for the Hyundai Tournament of Champions, and we'll rejoin you then. So for now, pleasant days and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone.